Beck here with episode 3 on tips for relationships. I really desire to help everyday Australians increase their capacity for self-love and healthy relationships. So let's have a conversation. The title for today is How I Want to be Loved. In some way or another, we've all had relationships in which we got to the point where we desperately wanted to change the other person. We determine it's not going how we would like or anticipated and set about to change that, usually by starting with the them. The if only they could give me what I want mentality is very common. While it seems really obvious to admit that we can't demand or create change in others, time and time again we lapse into trying to achieve as much. And yes, I've done it myself a few times too. One of the toughest things we can learn in relationships that they're just an exchange of gifts over which we have no control. That person's relationship with you is simply an extension of themselves as they are today, warts and all. Even the person you desire to spend time with the least is likely not out to hurt you, but rather acting from a place that is from pain within. Nobody is perfect. Therefore, all our relationships are imperfect people coming together to find imperfect connection. When we come to realize that, we begin to ease expectations of each other as well as the relationship. Each of us brings baggage. Our relationships are like those little conveyor belts at the airport. Your baggage, their baggage, all our baggage going round and round and round. In some way or another, we must come to acknowledge that all our needs have not been met and that our unconscious response is to seek to get those needs met in our adult life. This might look like overt control, covert control, becoming a perfectionist, or people-pleasing, just to name a few, in hopes that if we do just enough, in just the right way, other people will love us in the way that we need to be loved. Unconsciously, we never stop trying to have those needs met. One of the wisest things you can do, regardless of current circumstances or life challenges, is spend some time in therapy, exploring what skeletons are in your closet, because whether you acknowledge them or not, they're there. The reason many of us don't acknowledge it is because many of our behaviour and choices stem from unconscious material, belief systems or ways of surviving that were organically created in response to our lived experience. An adult who enters into a relationship without having explored unconscious beliefs and motivations enters into his or her relationships but also their future blindly. Mature adults who have invested in exploring such matters with a therapist or an experienced mentor will understand many aspects of a mature relationship, both with him or herself and therefore others. Such a person will have learnt about their values, about boundaries and about freedom. They'll have greater awareness about habits and tendencies that they hold. They will invest in relationships in such a way that it does not overextend or deplete from themselves. They honour the rights of the other person and maintain that their boundaries and right to express themselves freely and to leave at any given time are their rights alone. Whilst it is important in committed relationships that you value and want to preserve, that in times of difficulty you voice and express your discontent and concerns, that you leave the response and the desired change with the other person without adding any coercion, subtle or otherwise. The hard news is this: you can do very little to change anything about other people. All you can do is receive from others ultimately what they're currently serving. Sometimes it is necessary to leave the table, and sometimes it's better to wait a while. Relationships are so difficult. Relational trauma from our past is triggered by any number of relationships and circumstances. Our responses often repeat until we can see our wounds and get help and healing. The best and the worst of us is brought out in living relationship with others. If you want to learn more, click the link below to find an appropriate time that suits you, and we can get started this week. What are you waiting for? If you like this video, please share it to your page or share it with your friends. Let's start a conversation by asking questions or making comments right here below on this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you and see you next time.